Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Otunba Adams Show. My name remains Adams Oluwafemi, and you are welcome specially. All right. So on this episode, I would be having my first entrepreneur in the year 2022 come talk about his business, and it is a pleasure to have Chiedu Nkoka. Chiedu happens to be a friend of mine that I have known since 2004. We did pre-degree together in the at the Federal University of Technology, Akure. I did mechanical engineering. He studied electrical, and I would be interviewing him today. All right. So I'll be reading his bio right now, and from then I'll then bring him up on the screen to have a little chit chat with him. All right. So let me get my notes, and then I would read his bio. Okay. So Chiedu Nkoka is the co-founder and director at the Device Place, a technology company that is powering the next wave of ideas and innovation via trusted computer repairs and support. With over 8 years of experience in the information technology space, he regularly advises startups, small businesses, and enterprises on information technology procurement, installation, integration, support, and strategy. As an avid community development crusader, he has worked with the Delta State Innovation Hub to organize Asaba Tech Meetup, a monthly showcase for tech projects, initiatives, and innovations in Delta State, the South-South region, and beyond. He also serves as the head of partnerships for Startup Grind Asaba, which hosts monthly events designed to educate, inspire, and connect entrepreneurs and founders, which is powered by Google for Entrepreneurs. He was a founding executive member of Yali Delta, a signature effort of the U.S. Department of State to invest in the next generation of African leaders, and currently serves as a business mentor for Savvy Fellowship, a virtual program that helps young, aspiring, and early-stage entrepreneurs that are solving some of the world's most pressing problems build sustainable impact ventures through innovation. All right, without further ado, please help me welcome Nkoka Chiedu. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. And it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Listen, you're smiling. You're already live. You are live right now.
Yes.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I can only see you smiling. I can't really see you say anything. Okay, I think there's a bit of a lag with the network again. I don't know what is happening. Okay, so for those that do not know you, right? Who is Chiedu Nkoka? I know that I've read your bio, but please tell us more about yourself. Who is Chiedu Nkoka?
Okay, well, for starters, I like to describe myself as an entrepreneur and a lifelong student of life, really. So what it means is that I am constantly learning new things and constantly trying new things out. And one of the ways in which I express those is in the area of entrepreneurship. So that's who I can call myself. I simply call myself an engineer. I'm an engineer. I also call myself a hacker too, because I like to try new things, try shortcuts and all that. So that's simply how I like to describe myself.
Okay. All right. So my next question for you is this. What inspired you to do what you're currently doing at the moment? What inspired you? What was your inspiration?
Well, for what I would say inspired me to do what I'm doing right now was that I finished my youth service in 2012 actually. And after then, I was at home trying to make headway of my life, trying to see what I could do. And one of the senior officers that we had interned during my CWES just suggested to me that why don't I try, because I studied electrical electronics engineering in university. And due to that, and due to my lifelong, how would I say, proclivity for trying out new things, I'm pretty good with electronics and computers actually. So when I did my IT at Project E Delta It's an initiative by Delta State government to connect all their parastatals to the internet. And so he suggested to me that why don't you go for that? Because while I was doing my IT, even though I led electrical electronics engineer, I was made like a team leader for even those who study computer science in school. And that was because I was being a bit forward. I was much more knowledgeable. You know, I was taking initiative in trying to do things. So it was like, it's like you have a passion for this computer thing. Why don't you go and learn the hardware side of it? And so I took up the challenge. He referred me to one of his clients, his customers who usually help him fix computers, you know, and so I went to him and I learned for 6 months, yes, and so that's how the journey started, and here we are today.
Okay, that's great. That's great. All right then. Okay, we are still having a little bit of lag at your end, but I could pick
Okay.
everything that you said so far. The network is still a
Okay.
bit shaky in Delta State. I don't know why. But anyway, on to my next question. What are the challenges you faced while starting off, and have you been able to overcome them? What were the challenges you faced while starting off as an entrepreneur, and have you been able to overcome them so far?
Well, first of all, the first challenge I faced, which I overcame pretty
Are you
quickly, was the challenge of a reputation capital, you know.
hello?
And what? Hello, I can hear you. Hello, I'm with you. Hello, can you hear me?
Don't worry, don't worry. I can hear you now.
Hello.
I can hear you now. You can continue. Please continue.
Okay, so the first roadblock, or would I say obstacle, that I face, and which is quite common to everyone, to about a majority of startups, is the issue of capital.
I can hear you. Please continue.
You know, okay, and it's the issue of capital, trying to raise funds to try to see if you can test out your idea. You know, but the thing is, the way I solved that problem, the way I was able to overcome it was that I started small. I started small with the little funds I had. Then I also went into partnership with someone because I had to co-locate with someone who already had a shop. Because one of the things that stops most entrepreneurs in Nigeria is office space. I had to start in a small office space. I was sharing with someone, so we're paying half of the rent. You know, so that helped. Another thing that also helps too was that capital is not just about money. There's also what I call reputation capital. And what it means is that for a newcomer, most people don't know you. They don't know your capability. They don't know your competence. They don't know what you can do or what you cannot do. They can't really speak for you. But the thing is that those who have known you before, they can vouch for you. They can stand up for you. And so you're able to get referrals from them. And so that was how I was able to get my first set of customers. I would say 100% or thereabouts, because majority of my customers or my clients were referrals from people who knew me before, who knew what I could do before. And so from there, we started. Another challenge, I think that is also common to every entrepreneur, particularly in third world Africa and Nigeria, is the issue of power. And so what that meant was that we had to be creative in trying to manage power. You have to be creative in trying to manage power, because at the beginning, you don't really have that much funds to waste on fuel. So what happens is that sometimes we try to do batch work. We try to see how we can creatively make sure that we do all the work we want to do at once, so that when there's a break, you can go and switch off the gen, save a lot of fuel and all that. So those were the initial obstacles I faced when I was starting. But we thank God that today we've been able to overcome that, and here we are.
Okay, great. To my next question, what are the top software or apps you use in running your business? What are the top softwares or apps you use in running your business?
Well, the first software, well, I call it a software now, our website is Google Business, Google My Business. And Google My Business has helped my business a lot. And actually, though what happened was that when I first listed my business on Google back in 2016, 2014, thereabout, 2014, 2015, thereabout, many people didn't know about it, many people didn't care about it. But it really began to pay back the results during COVID and after COVID, because what happened was that during COVID, people were stuck up at home. A lot of people would depend on working customers. But what if customers can't work in? There's restriction on movement. So most times, most people would Google the internet, computer repair in Asaba, which is where we are located, and the first result is always us. Best iPad repair in Asaba, the first result is always us. So Google My Business is very, very important for every business. And even going forward, yes, the restrictions have been relaxed on movement, movement and all that. But the thing is that the internet is your first app. I call the internet a super app. So basically, list your business, Google My Business. You have Facebook Business Place. You have Instagram. You have your social media account. Definitely, I think a lot of us should have started working on that. Another thing is that on specialized listed platforms like VConnect, I used to list on VConnect there, and they also send me some customers too. Some other ones too, VConnect, and there's which other one? Then apart from that, another app that I use majorly is Google Keep. I use Google Keep a lot. I use a lot of Google apps actually, from Google Gmail to Google Keep to Google Docs to Google Contact. I use a lot of Google apps, and that's because of the power of synchronization. What it means is that whenever you do on one device at one point in time, whenever you log in, you continue from where you are. So Google Keep has always been very, very important for me. And even beyond business, I use it for my personal notebooks, to-do lists, reminders and all that. So the Google suite of apps. Another app that's also important that I've been using too is called Any.do. It's a scheduling app. Any.do is a scheduling app. So you use it to plan your time, plan future events. You can add upcoming events so that it reminds you ahead of time. That's one very, very important app that's also helped me. I think I've listed Facebook. Another app that has also helped us while working is Microsoft Outlook. Apart from Google having some of our docs of Google, we also use Microsoft Outlook, and that's because we use majority of Windows systems, and OneDrive, Outlook comes pre-installed with it. So the thing is a no-brainer. They give you 5 gig of free storage every month, and so you can use that also. Then when we started at first, there's this software. It's good for startups that are into repair jobs. It's called Repair Shopper. Repair Shopper. We used it at first. The repair is repair. Then the shopper is SHOPPR with no E, all joined together. Repair Shopper.
Okay.
Yes. So Repair Shopper too is a very, very fantastic app that we use in our business, and that's because it has predefined templates for invoices, for scheduling forms. It has invoices for recurrent jobs. There's a lot of value packed inside for people who are into the repair business, which we are into also. That's an app that has also helped us much more. The other ones that I would say would be, those ones are particularly specific to our line of jobs. And so I might not really recommend that because it's just for people who are into the repair industry. So those are the few apps that really, really helped us.
Okay, that's awesome. You've listed a lot of apps that I haven't even heard about in my life. It's great. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Okay.
Okay.
What is your most recommended book for every entrepreneur out there? What is your most recommended book?
For every entrepreneur out there, my most recommended book, actually, I'm torn between 2 books. One takes precedence because really, based on my faith, I'm a Christian, so I draw a lot of wisdom as an entrepreneur from the Bible, and particularly the book of Proverbs. But beyond that, one book that has shaped the way I do business is a book by a man called M.J. DeMarco. M.J. DeMarco, and the title of the book is called The Fast Lane Millionaire. I actually have 3 books: The Fast Lane Millionaire, Unscripted.
I have read it. I have read the book. Fantastic book.
Okay, fantastic books. So those books, they would help you in your work as an entrepreneur. I absolutely recommend them. So those are my top recommended books, apart from the Bible.
Okay. Where do you see yourself and your company in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself and your company in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, we'll see our company as being one of the topmost repair consulting firms in Nigeria, particularly in the West African region. And that's because we have been leveraging on partnerships with reputable organizations. We have been an authorized repair vendor for about 40 brands, 40 global brands, and we are still counting more. And so the thing is that we are planning and we are trying to expand our capacity to see that in the next 5 years, West Africa, we should have conquered West Africa, at least have a bouquet of other shops that we can, other offices that we can expand to and make sure that we offer services there. So that's how we see ourselves in the next 5 years.
All right, that's fantastic. I hope in the next 5 years, I'll be able to say that, like, hey, I know Chiedun Kuka, his company has grown in leaps and bounds, and like you guys are everywhere. All right, on to the next question. Who is an up and coming in your network that you think we should be keeping an eye on? Who do you think is within your network that like we should keep an eye on because you feel the person is doing a fantastic job right now?
Well, somebody in my network who's really we should keep an eye on, I would say there are 2 of them. There are 2 of them.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Hello? 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 Am I live?
Don't worry, continue. I think there's a lag between your end and my end, so you tend not to hear me on time. So please continue.
Okay. So I'd like to say an upcoming...
Yes, you're live. You're live. You're very, very much live.
Okay. An upcoming entrepreneur in my network, I would love to...
I can hear you.
Would be my wife. She's an entrepreneur. Her name is Mrs. Nkuka Ololade, and she's the founder and the creative director of Renick Originals. And the reason why I say we should keep an eye on her is because she's been able to, within the space of 7 years, build up a household in the fashion space, particularly in the leather goods industry. And so I see potential in her. Her work is underrated. I think it's underrated, but I'm sure in the next 5 years, her work will be known all over. She's going to be a global force to be reckoned with. So that's the person I can say, that's the entrepreneur I can say that we should keep an eye on in my network.
Okay. So who is the second person?
The second person will be a friend of mine. His name is Mr. Testimony Asiago. He's the founder and the CEO of Big T Infotech Solutions, and he's the lead director of EdTech Africa. STEM for Kids, STEM Education for Kids Africa. He's the second person I would say we should look out for because he's someone who is doing quite well in the children education space. Actually, he's an ICT entrepreneur. He started as an ICT entrepreneur, but right now he's teaching STEM education to kids, to women, and he's been someone who has been able to create a lot of impact. I think as at the last count, they had impacted about 4,000 kids in secondary schools. And the reason why I say so is because STEM education is going to be very, very critical for kids as they grow up in this generation. So I'd like to spotlight him also.
Okay, all right. That has been fantastic. All the points you've given so far, and every people that like you've shone light on. Now, my last question to you: how can people find you? Right, there's still a lag at your end, right? But how can people find you? What are your websites, your social media handles that they can actually reach you on?
Well, primarily, if you want to reach me, I'm on social media. You can just search for Nkuka Chiedu. The spelling of my name, Nkuka Chiedu. Just search for Nkuka Chiedu on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm on Twitter also. Or you can use @Nkuka Chiedu join together. Those are my social media handles. I'm on LinkedIn too as Nkuka Chiedu. Then my website is nkukachiedu.com.ng. nkukachiedu.com.ng, where you can reach out to me and you can able to find more stuff about what I'm doing currently at the moment.
Okay, it's been a pleasure having you, Mr. Chiedu Nkuka, or is it Nkuka Chiedu? Either ways. And I'm going to be listing all the information I just said about yourself, your website, your social media handles, in the description of this video. All right, this is going to be a pre-recorded video, and you all will get all the information that he put out there in the description of this video. Mr. Chiedu, it's a pleasure having you, and I hope that like someday we can bring you back on. I know that like the internet was poor today, but if you're able to listen well enough, you would have gotten some golden nuggets from what he said, especially for the books that he recommended, and some of the ways that like he was able to like to get over the challenges that he faced in his business originally. Mr. Chiedu, it's a pleasure having you again today. And you guys, thank you very much. On this note, we have come to the end of today's broadcast, and I really want to say thank you for sticking out till the end of this show. If you're watching from Facebook or YouTube, please make sure to leave us a like button, and you can also subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, and as I always say, be the best version of yourself as God has created you to be. From myself to you, I say, have a lovely day.